What's up, Tejas? Today I am here with Soledad Tanner. She is the owner of STC Consulting, and we're here to learn a little bit more about her. So thanks for coming to our office to talk about your business.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
it's my pleasure.
Of course. And so first I wanted to ask you to tell me a little bit about what got you to get into this business. I know when you walked in the door, you started talking about your background, and it's really interesting. One of the things that really stuck out to me was you talking about 25 years in corporate and then starting your own business. So can you tell me what led you to start your own business?
Well, after 25 years of corporate life, it was important for me to be able to give this knowledge to the people. I missed the connection with the people, and I realized more and more that people were asking me to help them with financial services, such as, I want to start a business, but I don't know how to do a budget. Can you help me with forecasts? So my friends were asking me these questions, and I thought, wow, that's something that I have been doing for so long, and really a lot of women are starting their own businesses, and the number one group, especially Latina women, are starting their own businesses, and it's critical that the financial knowledge is solid and that we increase financial literacy among that group.
Yeah, definitely. And so did you go to school for finances or business, or what's your background in education?
So I was born and raised in Ecuador, and my mother is Ecuadorian, my father was Swiss German, and I studied my undergraduate in Ecuador. So I'm an engineer, a commercial engineer, which a triple major in economic, business, and auditing. I graduated for that, and after that, I dreamed to have an MBA. But at that time, many moons ago, Ecuador it was just at the very beginning of the first MBA program. So I moved to the US and I pursued my MBA. And then when I was here, I decided that I was an international person by nature. So I went from an MIB, which is Master in International Business. And I thought that will be the level that it would allow me to compete with the people. Yeah. And it served me really well. And I studied here locally at University of St. Thomas, and that took me all the way to work in many countries around the world and work in finance, which is my passion.
Wow. Yeah, and I know you have family that lives in other countries right now. You were talking about your brother, I think, in Switzerland.
Yes.
But how many countries have you visited yourself or lived in?
Well, I have worked, visited, and visited. So I have lived in Uruguay, obviously in the US, in Ecuador, in Switzerland, and Germany, and in India.
Wow.
But I have traveled I love traveling. So I have traveled on a personal note also to India, to Nepal, Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand. I love the East. And in South America, which is beautiful, Argentina, Chile, Brazil, Peru, Ecuador. I love traveling, I love meeting people, and I love learning new foods, new cultures, learning, connecting with the people, and appreciating our differences and our similarities as you go around the world.
Yeah.
So I absolutely, this year has been difficult without traveling, but I'm looking forward to hopefully go back to visit my two brothers in Switzerland. My mother is in Ecuador, so
yeah,
a citizen of the world.
Yeah, and it sounds like that's really helpful for your business because you have a lot of experience working with different cultures and just making the most of reaching out to the people that you really want to reach out to and connecting with them. I want to know a little bit more about your business particularly. I feel like sometimes I go to networking events and people tell me they're a consultant, and I never really know the next question to ask because you can really be a consultant for anything, but what is your specialization? You've already touched on that a little bit. And what services do you offer that you can talk a little bit more about?
Correct. A consultant is somebody who has deep and wide experience on a specific topic. So it's true, you can meet consultants from any areas, from oil and energy to engineering to all the way to finance. In my case, I am a CFO On-demand and a business consultant, a financial speaker. So there are many services that can be provided, but basically is the extension of a CEO's and a strategic partner in the finance area. So many businesses, small, when they are small, they only need a bookkeeper. As they continue to grow, you need a bookkeeper and a CPA, right? Which help you with the tactical side. But as you continue to evolve and expand, now you need a strategic partner, somebody who helps you with a strategic approach. So where are we heading? Where are we going? Develop business intelligence, develop reporting that helps you measure what you're doing. So it's a more in-depth knowledge, and not necessarily you have the work to hire a full-time person.
Right.
So it really works well that when you combine somebody on demand as needed. So businesses can have the luxury and to learn all this knowledge from experts in the field.
Yeah, and so I was kind of curious, what you kind of talked about mentoring, the importance of mentoring. I have kind of three things that I want to talk about right now, because I want to talk about how you find clients, what organizations have you joined that might help you find clients, or what organizations have you joined for mentorship, because you mentioned that mentorship is really important to you, and I really value mentorship, and I'm a mentor myself. So can you tell us a little bit about organizations that you are a part of?
Yeah, so let's start with the first one. I started the business with no clients. So I think that's important for people to hear when they said, oh, you have to have X amount of clients to start. It's harder, but it's possible to start your idea, your purpose, if you are secure that is the line that you want to be. So I did it like many people do. I started calling all my friends and family and talk to them all the time. I said, this is what I'm doing. Ask me again, if you know anybody that needs my services. And I was on the phone for a month until I started the first one and the second and the third one, right? How do I get clients? People hire me for knowledge and for trust, and obviously for results, right? So you have to trust me, and that is the best referral is to a client who is satisfied, and knows that you have done the job, achieved the goal, but also you have been authentic, and you have been integrity. It's part of the journey.
Yes.
So I meet people and I tell what I do, but the way that I'm now feeding my pipeline of potentials is through referrals of current customers.
Yeah.
And the third question is about why is it so important to have somebody that you can mentor and also you can be mentored by. So there is two ways. First preconception is that only when you're younger you need to be mentored. Right. That's not true. You're going to need mentorship through your whole career, your whole life, because there's always going to be somebody who knows more than you in a particular area or has a different vision. Yes. You see it through your prisma, but other people see the same through a different point of view. So it's important that you listen and feed your knowledge with other opinions and you make your final decision. So it is important because when I moved to this country, I did not know anyone, and I wish I would have had people to ask basic questions that now I think, oh, it was so easy, but at that time I didn't know them. So I think it's important to be close to the students that sometimes don't have anybody to ask, and also I find it's critical that for the Hispanic community that they see one of themselves being here, being present, and being active in the community.
Right.
Because you can be what you can see.
Yes.
Right. So that's important. And as a mature executive and business owner, I also have people that I pick up the phone and I say, hey, what do you think about this? So we never know everything. We're never all enough not to have to ask for an advice.
Right, I totally agree. And are there any particular organizations that you're a part of that you would want to share with our viewers that maybe they should look into?
So I think it's for business owners important to join the Chamber of Commerce of your choice. It's important because that's where business are being conducted, right? I would suggest you go and visit them. They have complimentary event to make sure the target group that you are intending to reach is in the audience. And I also suggest you join something that gives back to your heart, that you can give back to the community. So there are many nonprofit organizations. Look for organizations that are in line with your purpose in life and your values. So because I think what goes around comes around. So you need to give back to the community. You meet phenomenal people. You feel good when you go back home, and you stay centered and grounded through seeing the needs of the community. And Houston is phenomenal. Look how many times we have gone through Harvey, we have gone through the freeze, we have gone through so many things. The list is too long to mention.
Yeah.
And the community is just one of the best communities I have known.
Yes, definitely. We're very resilient. And I think that's all great advice. I'm like in my head taking notes of all the great stuff that you're talking about. So we're gonna probably have to get like a glass of wine or something later so that we can go more in depth in this stuff. So it sounds like you have a really great attitude, but I want to know about any particular obstacles that you might have faced as an entrepreneur or as a woman in STEM or as an immigrant.
Well, I think we all have gone through difficulties, and the key here is how do we react to the difficulties. On a personal note, I would say one of the main ones is that I lost my father when I was around 20. I was 20 years old, so I was in still information, I would say, and I'm going to school, so that brought financial difficulties and emotional, obviously, difficulties to the family, which got us together and made us stronger and more resilient. As I decided to immigrate to the US for education, challenges where I didn't know about the educational system here. I did not understand credit hours, GPA. I did not know the application process. I have never seen a FAFSA in my life. And that's one of the reasons for me it's important to be active as a mentor, because somebody can be going through the same. As I move into the US, there is not a book that I tells you how to behave and what is right and wrong. And as you move to Texas, it's even a little more unique, right? You have a sticker over there that says, Texas isn't just a state, it's a state of mind. So, and you have another one that says, don't mess with Texas. I have no clue what that meant. So it's funny now, but what does it mean? And when do you read the meaning of that? How you are accepted? How do you have your first friend? What is normal? When do you ask them to come home and enjoy a dinner? Or do you go first to have dinner at a restaurant? So when is the right time? What are the steps, step by step, how to have your first friend in a foreign country? Should you dress? Here in Texas, we use more colors. You know, obviously we have the rodeo. We are a different dress code I have never seen. So in order to be accepted by the community, you have to learn and behave like, you put in your twist. I live in Germany, for example, and I had to learn how the colors that I can wear in Germany, the type of makeup that I need to wear in Germany, which is plain. I remember wearing my red nails in Germany, and I didn't see anybody doing that, and I couldn't understand what was wrong, or my red lipstick. So I had to change, just so you fit. You want to be unique, but you don't want to just stand up for the wrong reasons, right? Remember when I was living in Switzerland, I had to learn that as you enter into the train, nobody speaks. It's total silence. And to me, I just became nervous and started laughing, right? Which had the other effect. But as a person, as a human being, I think you need to be very aware of who you are and be aware that you are a perfect creation of the universe and be in tune with that. So be your best self, being unique and being memorable for who you are authentically is important.
Yes. And I like how you said be your best self, because Jenny and I always say be better, and she's like, no, be best.
Yeah.
So I love that. when you were in all of these countries, and sometimes you had to navigate the cultures alone, or maybe you felt alone. How did you handle that?
I think in principle, humankind is phenomenal. So everybody is welcoming if you do your work in advance. For example, the first time I had to work in India, I was assigned a big project and I worked in Chennai, the south of India. And I have never had the privilege to work with a different culture. And I was going to be the manager of a big group of people, and not only from Canada and the US, but also from India. And I didn't know, I wanted to do a good job, but I didn't know how to. So I think step number one is to educate yourself about how, in this case, business is done. What are the decision-making process? There are many books that tells you about the priority levels, the cultural, what to do, so you don't offend anyone out of lack of knowledge. So that's very important, to be respectful to any culture. Second, the moment you open the window, it's so interesting. It's so incredible, interesting to learn about the food, the music, the business, the culture, the family. And if you are, I see knowledge and I see experiences in each one of these opportunities. I am the first one at the door. What do we do now? Where do we go? Who do we meet? Can we go to a museum? Can we go to a temple? Can we go to a restaurant? I remember having to learn how to eat with my hands, which is something that I have never done in the Indian way. And it took me a while. Like, it's like learning to eat with chopsticks. You are not born with that. You learn that. And it's experience. Now I can eat with silverware, with chopsticks, and with my hand in different cultures. And I think that shows respect to the culture that you're with.
Yes, definitely. And and just to let y'all know, if y'all hear noise, we are in our office and it's still under construction. So it seems to have gotten louder as we're talking. So when starting your business, what was something that you overcame, and how did you keep a good attitude when you had this, obstacle?
Believe it or not, I'm very social. I love to talk. But when I started my business, I have never done networking events.
Oh, wow.
Because I was a technical person, a financially technical person that had worked in one company 20 years and the rest in different companies overseas. So I moved very easily in that microcosm, but we didn't network, because suddenly I'm very clear about my idea of having a business. I can see long term, I have the strategy, and next thing I know, they asked me that I had to go to a networking event, and I walk into a building with 400 people, and I had no clue what to do next. So I for a little bit I kind of freeze, and I went and got a glass of wine and look at the group, and I look at what people were doing, and I observe, analyze, and study what were people doing, how were they giving the business card, how long were they with each person. And then I went back and studied about, the average time that you should stay, just for some guidelines. So I had to overcome, I wanted to do the work, but I really had not thought about the amount of hours that you needed to spend networking and building, not just meeting people, building true, honest, deep relationships.
Yeah. With
friends, that you are there for them, they are there for you, and they connect you, and they become your ambassadors when you are not in the room.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And I like how you almost took this scientific approach to something that's so social, because, I feel like I'm a very social person myself, just like you, but I don't think in that scientific way like you do. So I think that's very interesting.
It's my mathematical engineering approach. How many minutes, how many people, how long, how do I do it? At what time is right to give the business card? So that
it's like a formula almost.
But it doesn't exist.
Right.
Maybe we should create the networking formula for success.
On the next episode. What is an accounting secret that a small business owner should know?
I get asked this all the time, so I'm going to share a little secret here. The secret is, be organized. Have your accounting and your bookkeeping and your taxes on time and done correctly. The best way to give your CPA the opportunity to include more deductions and give you right recommendation is to have your house in order. Do not have your receipts in a shoebox or in a plastic bag or in the car or like that doesn't help me, because if you show up at the end of the year to your CPA with a box and you say, here you have, this is my year, well, first of all, the CPA has probably another 3,000 clients, and if you didn't have the time to organize your own house in a year, don't expect your CPA to sit down and unfold your receipts. So you are going to miss a lot of opportunities for legal deductions because you didn't have everything taken care of. So, and hire professionals, I will say the other one. I get requests all the time to review people's QuickBooks. We are trying to set up a strategy, and I go into QuickBooks or whatever software that they have, and it's not right.
Yeah.
It's not right. So how can you sit and analyze your numbers and prepare for the future? Is the base, the core, the data that you're looking at is not solid. You're going to spend hours trying to figure out how did you get to those numbers that they don't look right, and you're going to be talking about the past instead of talking about the future. Looking at what do I do tomorrow, what do I do next year, how do I get to my destination. So be organized, hire professionals, have your numbers on time, have good accounting systems and protocols.
I feel like Jenny actually wanted to know the answer to that question, and I feel like personally attacked by Jenny because I am like really unorganized with my receipts. They're all folded up in my purse, and I'm like, I don't know.
I got my own plastic box situation going on.
So we're gonna move on to the next part of our interview. It's called the Texas Trio, and basically we have questions in here, and you're gonna choose 3 random ones to answer. So you can choose your first one, and then read
one
it out
at a
loud.
time. What is the most go big or go home thing you can think of?
You know how they say go big or go home in Texas? Like, what should you go big and go home about?
I think if you decided to start your business, you start walking, and you don't look back even to look at the bridge. You burn the bridge and you move forward. It's go all the way through. There's only one route. Adjust, learn, readjust, keep moving forward. But once you make the decisions, surround yourself with experts, go, because you have a gift that the world is waiting for. So give the world that gift.
Oh, I love that.
What is the state?
Mammal. What is the state mammal?
I don't know. I have no idea. What is the state mammal? I don't know.
An armadillo. Yeah.
Oh, and you have one over there.
Yeah.
Okay, I learned
Our
something
armadillo.
new. See, that's what I said. Every day you learn something new. Can you talk with a Texan accent? Okay, I have something to say about this. So I came here and I studied British English. So I have never heard this singing, this So I was like, okay. So I go to my first big business interview, and they asked me something with fixing, right? We're fixing to get to the interview, and I was puzzled because we're fixing to what's broken. I was like, why? How are we fixing the interview? We haven't even started. It's broken. So that was one of the things that was interesting. And the other one, I was quite confused. Here in Texas also, you use a lot of animals to talk. So for example, the first time I heard, it's raining cats and dogs.
Yes, yes. Or like, don't beat a dead horse.
Yes. Or, what else? Oh, I'm having a cow. Like, what is that? And I love with the years, and I had a book with all these phrases, right? And don't have a cow, or so many phrases. So more than an accent, I think I learned to love The first time in an elevator, somebody said, do you want to hitch a ride with me? It's like, I don't know what is that. I don't know what that means. But now I know, and now the answer is yes, ma'am. I can do it.
That is so funny. I love it. Well, I'm so glad. This is actually the first time I met you, and I'm like a little bit mad at Jenny that she hasn't introduced me to you earlier, because you are so fun. But if y'all are looking for someone that is an expert in numbers, make sure that you reach out to Soledad. We're going to drop her information down below. And thanks for being here.
Thank you. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. That's what I do, and that's what I love doing it.
Yes, definitely. And thanks again for all your great advice.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
What's up, Tejas? It's National Salsa Month. So we are here today eating chips and salsa. It's not salsa the dance, it's salsa the food. So like we're here today eating chips and salsa at one of my favorite restaurants near my house. I'm not going to say where because they are not a sponsor yet. But my salsa, I like it warm. So I don't know about y'all, but let us know in the comments how you like your salsa. But I also wanted to let y'all know, hold on, let me eat this real quick. Hold on. Oh yeah. I can eat that with a spoon. Like, it's so good. So, what better way can you enjoy your chips and salsa than with a nice, refreshing margarita? Or is it margarita? I don't know. But anyway, we have prickly pear margarita and a regular margarita. This is Jenny's. She's a little bougie. And this one's mine because I'm pretty basic, so.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But anyway, let us know in the comments. Do you like your salsa warm or cold?
Or in how spicy.
Yeah, and how spicy. Like I like mine nice, mild, you know?
Yeah, I like to taste it. I don't want to be like burning my tongue off.
Yeah. Also, do you like red salsa or green salsa? Because sometimes it's really hard to choose. Bye!
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Till next time. That's all, y'all.